Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a text that has shaped the minds of generals, CEOs, and world leaders for centuries. We're going to unlock the secrets of a book that teaches you how to win a war by, well, never actually having to fight it. And that question right there, it's the very core of a 2,400-year-old text on strategy that has influenced leaders not just in war, but in boardrooms, sports, and politics. You guessed it, Sun Tzu's The Art of War. So to really get this book, we have to start with the man himself, or, at least the legend behind the name, Sun Tzu. This guy, Sun Tzu, he kind of just pops up in the history books, showing up and presenting his 13-chapter treatise to King Ho-Lu. And the king, he was, let's say, skeptical. He wanted to see if this theorist could actually back it up with results. He wanted proof. And this is where the story gets wild. So the women just laugh at his commands. At first, Sun Tzu blames himself, saying, "My orders must not have been clear enough." But after he explains them again, and they laugh again, he shifts gears. He says, okay, the fault now lies with your officers, who just happened to be the king's two favorite concubines, and he ordered their execution. The message was brutal, but it was crystal clear. Discipline is absolute. Now, you can imagine the king is horrified, right? He tries to stop him, but Sun Tzu says these words right here, making a crucial point. Once a general takes command on the field, they have to have total authority, free from interference, even from the king. After the executions, well, the rest of the women drilled perfectly. And just like that, the king was convinced. And that whole story brings us perfectly to Sun Tzu's first great lesson. The outcome of a conflict is decided long before a single soldier moves. It all happens in the planning. For Sun Tzu, preparation isn't just important, it's literally everything. And we're not talking about guesswork here. This is a cold, rational assessment of 5 key factors that defy the entire strategic landscape. His point was that a commander has to analyze these 5 factors not just for their own side, but for the enemy's side too. It's about getting a complete 360-degree view of the battlefield. You're not just looking at your own army, you're sizing up everything: morale, alignment, the weather, the terrain, leadership, logistics, and comparing it all to your opponent. It's about seeing the whole board before you even think about making your first move. Okay, so all of this careful planning, all this calculation, it all leads up to Sun Tzu's most famous and frankly, most radical idea, the one that makes this book so much more than just some old military manual. Just stop and think about that for a second. True victory isn't about crushing the enemy. It's about getting what you want while keeping your own resources, your own people totally intact. The goal isn't annihilation, it's submission. You win by making the idea of fighting you seem like the worst possible choice for your enemy. So he lays out this really clear ranking of strategies. The absolute best thing you can do, take enemy territory without destroying it. And at the very, very bottom of the list, the worst possible move, laying siege to a walled city. He saw that as a complete and utter failure of strategy. And this number just perfectly illustrates the disastrous cost of that poor strategy. Sun Tzu figured you could lose a third of your men trying to storm the walls and still not even take the city. It's a fight you lose even if you eventually win, because the cost in lives and resources is just astronomical. So if brute force is out, what's in? What's the alternative? Well, that leads us to one of the book's most famous and practical concepts. For Sun Tzu, the battlefield isn't just a patch of ground. It's the mind of the enemy commander. Strategy is really the art of manipulating their perceptions. It's a war you fight with psychology and information, long before a single sword is drawn. It all starts by projecting the complete opposite of what you're actually doing and what you're capable of. You want to lull your enemy into a totally false sense of security. Next, you start to warp their whole sense of reality. You control what they see and hear, and by doing that, you control the battlefield itself. You make them scramble to defend a place you never planned to attack. They're basically reacting to a game board that only you can see clearly. And this is the real masterstroke. Once you've shaped their reality, you exploit their psychology. You use their own ego, their own temper, their own assumptions as weapons against them. You let them get arrogant, because an arrogant enemy always makes mistakes. So you've got the planning, the discipline, the deception, and it all comes together in Sun Tzu's single most powerful piece of advice. This is the principle that applies to pretty much any competitive situation you can think of. This right here is the ultimate distillation of his entire philosophy. Victory isn't about having the bigger army. It's a product of knowledge. Pure, simple, comprehensive knowledge. And he breaks it down into 3 really simple outcomes. If you know yourself and your enemy, you're golden. You'll win consistently. If you only know yourself but not your enemy, well, now it's a 50-50 shot, basically a coin flip. And if you know neither yourself nor your opponent, that's a guarantee of failure every single time. So in the end, the art of war, it isn't really about war, is it? It's a timeless guide to strategic thinking. It teaches us that the greatest victories don't come from brute force, but from better preparation, clever deception, and a deep, deep understanding of the entire landscape. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about in our own lives. Where can you achieve your greatest victory by choosing not to fight at all?